Hey guys, it's Jenny, your kitchen coach. And today I want to show you how to make two of my all-time favorite smoothies. These are so delicious and refreshing and perfect for the middle of summer. It is hot outside right now, isn't it? And one of the most refreshing things that our family loves is a smoothie in the middle of summer. So I'm going to teach you how to make two different kinds. The first one we're going to make is a mango basil smoothie, which might sound like a really weird combination. I first tried this smoothie a few months ago, probably, when I was at a restaurant and decided to just give it a try. And I was super hooked from the first sip. It was the most amazing combination. And so I recreated it at home, and I'm going to share that with you today. So we're going to start out with a blender, of course. And I use a blender in almost all my videos so far, so I apologize. But I just love using my blender. It's so handy. So I've got roughly a half cup of frozen mangoes here. I just buy the big bags of frozen mangoes from Costco, and these work really well. So we're going to add that, and then we're going to add 1 cup of non-dairy milk. You can use whatever milk you'd like. This is our homemade almond coconut milk that we make. So we'll put that right in. The next thing we're going to add is a handful of fresh basil. This is what really makes this smoothie taste amazing and makes the flavors really pop. So this is just straight out of our garden, and it is so fragrant and yummy and delicious. So we're going to throw that in there. And then I'm just going to add some things for flavor. If you watched any of my videos, you know I use monk fruit to sweeten, there we go, to sweeten almost everything that I do. I sweeten almost everything with dates and monk fruit, and that's just a combination I found that works really well with my body and leaves me feeling great. So I buy this on Amazon, and I think it's around $20 to $30 for this, but this lasts me at least 3 or 4 or 5 months. It lasts a long time because you only need a tiny bit. It comes with a little scoop inside, and I've measured out about a quarter of the scoop, and I'm just going to throw that in there. You could use honey, you could use agave, you could use stevia. Any of those things will work to give your smoothie just a little bit of added sweetness. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of real salt in, which may seem counterintuitive, but I add salt to all of my sweet things that I make because it really brings out the flavors and the sweetness of whatever I'm making. I just love the flavor it adds. I'm going to throw in just a bit of vanilla powder for flavoring. And then the last thing I'm going to add is 5 dates. And I've gone ahead and cut all of these open and checked the inside for any sort of bugs or eggs that we sometimes find in dates. And these ones are all good, so I'm going to throw them in there. And that is all of our ingredients. So we're just going to go ahead and blend this up. Because of the dates, it's going to take probably about a minute to blend it up fully. If you don't have a high-powered blender, I would strongly suggest soaking your dates for at least an hour or 2 before you make this. They'll blend up a lot more easily that way. Okay, there we go. It's all blended up. I'm going to go ahead and just pour it into my glass. This is kind of a single serving. I would serve about 1 to 2 people, but I find that it's perfect. It's a perfect size for breakfast for me. And it is so flavorful. You just can't even describe like the pop of flavor you get when you add that basil. It's so good and refreshing. So try it out. It sounds a little weird, but it's delicious, I promise. All right, I'm going to wash out my blender, and we're going to move on to our second recipe. All right, my blender's all washed up, and we're going to move on to recipe number 2, which we as a family call Shamrock Shake. It is so delicious. It's basically a healthified version of a mint chocolate chip shake. And let's get started. So the first ingredient I'm going to add is 3 cups of my homemade almond coconut milk. And again, you can use whatever milk your family likes and enjoys. So I've got that. The next ingredient I'm going to add, this is what gives it its nice green color. I've got a cup of just some greens that I bought from Costco. Let me show you the bag. I just buy these organic power greens from Costco, and these work really well when you stick them in the freezer, and then you can take the bag out once they're frozen and crunch it up, And it breaks all the leaves into smaller pieces and makes it really easy just to scoop out however much you want. So really, really convenient. I also really like this with spinach. You could use kale. So just add as many greens as you want, basically. I would say a cup is probably a good place to start, especially if you have little kids that might be wary of the green color or might not like the greens so much. Spinach is probably the mildest one you can add. But this one, you can't even taste the greens in this smoothie. So I'm also going to add, and this is optional, but this is just something fun because it's in my garden, so I thought I would add it. I have some sprigs of fresh spearmint, so I'm just going to throw some of those leaves in there. Add to the minty flavor. And if you don't have this, that is totally fine. If you do, if you have some fresh mint growing out in your garden or you have a source of some fresh mint, by all means add it because it's going to add an awesome flavor. And then we're going to add some peppermint therapeutic grade essential oil. Make sure it is therapeutic grade and that it's safe to take internally. You don't want to just use any run-of-the-mill essential oil that you buy for cheap at the store. Make sure it's a good quality. So we are going to add, kind of crystallized around the top there. Interesting. So we're going to add about 4 to 5 drops of this. There we go. We've got our essential oil. The very last, well, not the very last. We're going to add half of a frozen avocado. You can use fresh or frozen. I just have a bunch of these frozen in my freezer. So there's your avocado. This makes it really, really smooth and creamy, and you can't even taste the avocado, but it really adds to the texture and the color. And then I'm going to add about 12 ice cubes. This recipe makes a little bit more than the last one I showed you. Of course, that mango basil smoothie can be doubled or tripled, depending on how many people you're feeding. And I'm also going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of vanilla, and then the very last ingredient I'm going to add is some monk fruit, of course. This is what gives it its sweetness. And as always, use whatever whatever sweetener suits you. So honey, agave, stevia, whatever you'd like. I'm going to add about half a scoop of this. When I'm done, I usually blend it or I usually taste it and then reblend some more sweetener in if I didn't add enough. But it's better to start with not enough than to put too much in, especially when you're using monk fruit or stevia. Those flavors tend to get kind of overpowering if you use too much. Okay, so we've got all ingredients added. We're just going to blend this up. Oh, I forgot the most important ingredient. How could I forget? Okay, I'll be right back with that one. I almost forgot. This is the most important ingredient in the whole smoothie. Okay, if you can get your hands on just some unsweetened cacao or cocoa. I get this on Amazon. I'll zoom it in so you can see it a little bit better. Divine Organics cacao paste. And all this is just chunks of unsweetened cacao. I believe it's even raw. So, but you could buy baker's chocolate from the store, just something that you could even use semi-sweet chocolate chips. It's totally up to you. I just prefer not to have the added sugars. So I'm just going to take some of this and break it up into chunks. We're going to throw that in there too. I'm going to add a couple more chunks. The beautiful thing about this is the monk fruit that you add gives the smoothie a really nice sweetness. And then we add this unsweetened chocolate, but you're drinking it with the sweet smoothie. And so it tricks your mind into thinking the chocolate is sweet too. It's not bitter at all. At least my family has never complained about it. It's delicious. It adds that added flavor of chocolate that just puts it over the top and makes it just like a mint chocolate chip smoothie. So, all right. All right, this is done blending. That only took maybe 20 or 30 seconds. And we have this beautiful mint chocolate chip smoothie. You can see all those little flecks of chocolate in there. It is so good. So you can go back once you taste it For this batch, I would probably add a few more drops of peppermint and maybe a little more sweetener. So just fiddle around with it, and once you find the perfect combination, just write it down. You'll know exactly how to make it next time. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy these two delicious and refreshing summer smoothies. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.